Practice problem 4-9, millimeters, grams, and seconds. The part origin is at the bottom mid. Lines, center lines, circles, extrude boss, extrude cut. So very similar. We have a potentially have a virtual sharp, so we could see what that looks like. Symmetrical about the front plane. This is another one that we've done quite a bit from technical drawing books. So we will see what we get. So let's do this kind of traditional. We'll go into the front plane. And because these are different depths, different directions, we'll just do a rectangle starting at the origin and going out some distance, picking the dimension from the right button, and our height is 52. Okay, hit all the buttons, see what happens. 52, and the width is 28. And then we can go ahead and extrude. We'll go into midplane, and the overall is 61. All right, if I rotate over, I can go to the bottom. This would be a good place for a center line, horizontal, infinite length. Place it on the origin, and then just X or escape out of it. We'll go back into the line. This does need to be connected, but we'll go ahead with our shape first. All right, a right to left selection gets the center line into the mix. Let's go one more line and make sure this closes out, otherwise it will try to give us a thin feature. And the width then is 41. Our angle was 52. So that's kind of fun. The tip, no, 33 from the flat back to the base. And then this is where we need the point. Let's change the selection. So if I added the point, now this point and probably a point, no, I drew that one in separate. This point here is identifying the symmetry, that it was mirrored. So you may see those little points pop up. For the virtual sharp though, selecting the two lines and the point gives us the extension lines as a visible for the virtual sharp. If I just put the point in and made it coincident and coincident, or the point and the two lines and made them symmetric, or an intersection, that would that wouldn't necessarily give us the virtual sharp looking designation. So 120, that looks pretty good. It is overall, so just double checking my numbers. Yeah, that all looks pretty good. So let's go extrude boss base. It rotates over. No, it's not midplane anymore. We'll go to blind in condition. Make sure to reverse the direction. And then that height, since this is not in blue, I'm going to double click so that I get the geometry in place at 29, or so I can enter the 29. Let's go to the top. And again, if I just draw the rectangle close, then I can go to the origin and the line and directly into midpoint. And the depth is 10 millimeters and 38. And that is going to be an extrude cut. So we're just going to go through and we're going to nibble away at this through all from last cut. Doesn't really matter. Let's go from that side. Same thing, rectangle close to position, but doesn't really attach to anything. So this one we are going to have to do the select midpoint, control select the top edge of our feature so that we can go midpoint to midpoint. And then this dimension becomes 23, and the height becomes 11. Okay, and that one also becomes an extrude cut. Should default back to where the last selection was through all, so it should stay with through all. And then the sketch, we do want to be careful that anytime you pick an angle, normal 2 is going to send it through the part that way. We want to make sure that we're in a position to where we can see the selection, and when we draw the circle, it's not going to matter that it overlaps the edge, but it does need to be going the right direction. All right, so that one I'm going to say is probably looks like it's on center line with the 12, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to make those separate. And then, wow, I put it right on the edge. All right, so let's go coincident. Now let's utilize this as a introduce a couple of tools. So extruded cut and the through all is fine. So let's just say that I happen to pick that that sketch, and I'm going to do this as an open, and of course it took me right to the midpoint, which was not what I wanted. Let's see, it was 12 and 22, so let's just escape out of that. I'm going to hit L on the keyboard so it jumps me back into the line pretty quick. And then we're going to go to that edge. So just the normal view, I can tell that there's something wrong. But we're going to see what happens if we build this geometry out. So 22. All right, so normal to the sketch is going to take it back that way, but you wouldn't necessarily see it until it makes the geometry. So it's showing through all both. I don't know that it needs to be through all both. All right, so extrude feature cannot be created by this sketch. Check that the sketch extends past the body limit. So it defaults, an open sketch defaults. Also, it looks like it's going to leave a tip there if it is going that direction. All right, so it still doesn't it doesn't like the cutout there. So you know, it naturally has an issue. So what I want to do is, rather than deleting and redrawing, I want to see if I can edit the sketch plane. It takes it off of that face and puts it onto that face. So it reversed it, but you know, it's kind of a hit and miss thing anyway. So let's make sure that I can get back into the edit sketch. We have the 22. We haven't had a chance to use the change since. This is one of a handful of places you will see the negative. So it reverses the sense, but as soon as it's done reversing the sense, then it goes back to being a positive number. So extrude cut. Let's pick the sketch. Want to make sure the direction, so flip side to cut. We don't want to end up with a little rectangle out here. So I'm watching this little arrow right here. And we go ahead and hit OK, and that gives us the cut. So 22, but the 22 was to the virtual sharp. So I need to go back to this sketch and show it, because I can tell that that's a little too deep. That would be a particularly fun little trap if we didn't catch it. So let's go from the sharp to our geometry, and because that point, even though it's on the on the front plane and we're sketching out here, it is able to be projected into the current sketch, so it is valid geometry to dimension from. All right, so that looks like we've got all of our items in there. Let's save this. This is 4.9. And our values then 141,606. Let's go to evaluate, mass properties, 141,605,8, 606. All right, we'll call that good.